we've seen several times, Commissioner, that especially smaller oil and gas companies, when they feel like they're not being treated properly, that if the other side, for whatever reason, they don't really approach the thing in a conciliatory fashion, that the only solution that they have is go to court, district court. And there's many times when going to district court can last 3, 4, 5 years. And many people absolutely cannot afford that. Won't do it. Can't do it, can't afford it, so they just have to walk away from it. I don't know what steps can be made that possibly the Corporation Commission could have the ability to help set the stage to avoid that kind of a situation, where requirements are made by the administrative law judges, for example, where certain things have to be met prior to a pooling or spacing hearing being agreed upon, or even a drilling permit being applied. Do you see opportunities for that to occur? And secondly, I guess the more important question on that is, does the commission now have enough funds available to add more people to maybe take care of the situation, say engineers, quality engineers that understand the reservoir characteristics and all that sort of thing? Forgive me a long, involved question, but I just want to see.
Well, I'll start with the last point. Do we have enough technical staff? Currently, in my opinion, we do not. Sometimes we get up to a 5-week backlog on processing permits. At one point in time, we were down to, and it happened to be during a time that Dewey and I were visiting about a case, and it had taken forever to get through or whatever. And Dewey said, "Todd, why don't you just take one of those technical staff out of that and just dedicate them just to these?" And I said, "Dewey, do you know how many technical staff we have?" And he said, "No." And I said, "1." So if we remove that 1, we have 0. And so that is a problem. We have been able to address that to a certain extent at this point. We've been able, with some new funding, the fees that, again, I should have talked about that probably too, because that's another area where you all really stepped up and helped us in assessing some of the new fees last year in the rulemaking. But with the new fees starting, they're just now starting to kind of roll in, and we've been able to fill some of those vacancies, and it's getting better, but we have a long way to go. On the first part of your question, can the Corporation Commission have some role there? Well, I know there's been discussion, and it's not fully vetted, but from what I understand, I personally would be supportive of something similar to, you have the landowner Bill of Rights, this would be the operator's Bill of Rights, or whatever you might call it, but where there would be a process in place for assigning, each side gets to assign their appraisers, and then, if there's no agreement there, then it goes to the next step. And so I think that's probably the best avenue that I see to give us jurisdiction, because we don't have the ability to go out and evaluate these operations and set costs on them, set values on them.